Have you guys ever learned something in one subject and immediately found it useful in another area of your life? For me, it was learning evolution in biology or logic in philosophy. Once those concepts clicked, I realized you need variation in something to make that thing more likely to survive, and that you need to be sound in your decision making or else you will crumble. So it made me started to think about life in this way of learning something in one field and applying it to another was I was actually watching a video on Roth IRAs. And watching that video inspired me and motivated me to read 4 books in 1 week. Yeah, no, I read 4 books in 7 days because of a video on Roth IRAs. It might sound stupid, but hear me out. All retirement plans, whether it's a 401k, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, whatever you have is all built on one simple premise. And that premise is called momentum. See, you probably think of momentum just like I think of momentum. It starts like a snowball that you pounded in your hand and you let it go to roll down a hill. By the time it gets down the hill to the bottom of the hill, it's hundreds of times bigger than that small snowball that you initially started out with. That's because the rate at which it grew is determined by its surface area. And as it grew, its surface area grew, causing a positive feedback loop into quicker and quicker growth. Now, us math nerds might call that exponential growth. And that eureka moment of thinking of life in that way made me realize retrospectively that I had these snowballs that went downhill, that grew and grew, and it has completely changed my life. Like, for example, my freshman year in college, I was watching a video of one of my favorite YouTubers, Christian Guzman. He only had 1,000 subscribers or so, and he was roughly 24, and I remember distinctly thinking he was so cool for being that young and starting a YouTube channel at that age and being so successful with his 1,000 subscribers. Coming across his page at that age motivated me to start my first company in college. And that company led to me starting another company in college. And that company allowed me to get my first job out of college. And that first job allowed me to get the job I have now. And the job I have now allows me to have the time and the money to start my own YouTube channel. It's funny how life kind of works that way. So after watching this IRA video, which by the way was a Dave Ramsey video, and being hit with this eureka moment, I decided to actively and intentionally start throwing snowballs down this metaphorical hill. So the best way that I have found to start something is to start binging topics until it shifts how you think about things. So I started by reading. And by reading, I definitely mean listening to books on Audible, who obviously isn't a sponsor of this video, but hopefully one day we can make that happen. So the first book I read was actually 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Honestly, this book is a little outdated. It's about how you can use the internet to free up your time and how you can use the internet to make you more efficient. That being said, Tim Ferriss does a good job of making you question, why are you working in the first place? And he really convinces you to free up your time so you can use that time to figure out what life is all about. I just wish he didn't take 308 pages to explain that. So for that, I'm going to give this book a C+. The next book I read was The Hard Things About Hard Things by Bob Horowitz. He takes you through his experiences of starting a company and becoming the CEO and the roller coaster of what it's like to start a company and build it to a multi-billion-dollar company. Just like the 4-Hour Workweek, this book takes place and talks about how the internet boom and bust of the early 2000s changed everybody's life. And for that reason, I'm also going to say it's a little outdated. That being said, it was interesting to hear someone of his stature take us through his decision making when it came to firing people and hiring people and buying and selling companies. So let's give this book a solid B-. Now, the next book has immediately shot up to the top of my list of one of my favorite books of all time, and that is 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. As someone who grew up without a father, I can tell you firsthand that this book is as good of a replacement as you're gonna get. Now, I've binged every single podcast, every single debate, every single YouTube video when it comes to Jordan Peterson, so I've heard a lot of this. But every single video and content he's a part of, he explains something so foundational yet so true, it feels like it completely changes my life every single time. So my favorite rule out of the book is rule number 7, and that is to pursue what is meaningful and not what is expedient.
Rule number 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. We're having an engaging conversation. You know, we'll walk away from this, and hopefully the people who are watching, they'll walk away and they'll think that was worthwhile. It's like, okay, think about what that means. It means that despite the fact that you're a fragile, damaged, mortal creature, you found something to do that announced itself as worthwhile. That's meaning.
This book is hands down an A+++, 10 out of 10, 5 stars, and 5 smiley faces. And the last book I read was Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. The book mainly takes you through how Nike started as a small shoe company and built itself to what we see Nike as today. It's long, but if you're someone who is even slightly entrepreneurial, you would love this book. It's a solid B+. Now, like I said before, I didn't actually sit down and read any of these books. I actually have the hard copy of 12 Rules for Life. I don't even think I've opened it yet. And that's because I listen to everything on Audible. That's because I can listen to books at 2 to 3 times speed and not lose any comprehension. I drive a lot for work, so I can get 6 hours of an audiobook through on my day-to-day driving of 2 hours. When I first started listening to the books, I was doing it on 1 to 1.5 times speed. And then I was a few chapters into 4-Hour Workweek, my first book. And he said that you should do everything as efficiently as possible. So I bumped my listening speed up from 1.5 to 2. Then I tested 2.5, then 3. And because I did that, in the time it would have taken me to finish 4-Hour Workweek, I was able to read 12 Rules for Life, which made me pursue what is meaningful in this YouTube channel. I was able to finish and read Shoe Dog, and that actually gave me the concept and topic to make this video. And hopefully all of these videos, all of these ventures that I do on a day-to-day basis will put me in position to where hard things about hard things will come in handy. So these books are hopefully snowballs that I threw down this hill and will metaphorically grow, building and building and building. And just like the video title says, it's building momentum. So first of all, thank you guys for watching to this point in the video. I tried to change up the editing and storytelling in this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you guys really liked it, consider subscribing and liking the video. It really helps out. That being said, thank you guys again. And remember, it may be hard now, but it doesn't always have to be. I'll see you in the next one.